He is the reason why the Spurs are the favorites here. His ability to deliver, not only scoring, but passing, screening, rebounding, blocking shots, always the anchor of this great defense. And then when they need him most in the fourth quarter, he gets to it. The numbers from the Sacramento series, a 6-game win accomplished on Friday night on the road. Tim Duncan, you don't expect these kind of numbers. But he did lead the team in rebounding. He did shoot a remarkable 61% in that series.
You got to have a gun, and that's what the Dallas Mavericks have. They got a gunslinger in Dirk Nowitzki who has arrived. He scores inside, he scores outside, but more importantly, he scores in the big moment. When they had to put Memphis to bed, it was Dirk Nowitzki leading the way, making the big shot. So look for Mr. Big Shot to carry the torch.
The starting lineup delivered by AT&T. Nowitzki's joined by Josh Howard and Jason Terry. Sagana job for defense in the middle. Eric Dampier will back him up. Adrian Griffin's defense will be important in this series as well. For the defending champs, 34-7 at home. Only the Pistons were better this year. Duncan, supported by Bruce Bowen, a good scorer in the last 2 games. Manu Ginobili. Robert Horry gets a 3rd consecutive playoff start. And Tony Parker, who led San Antonio in scoring in this postseason. Danny Crawford set to toss it with Greg Willard and Mark Wunderlich. 3rd playoff meeting between these 2 teams. You may focus on LeBron in his series. You may want to watch Shaq. The Clippers and Phoenix will be good. This will be the best 2nd round series in these playoffs. Only the 3rd time ever 2 60-win teams have met in the 2nd round. It begins with a Ginobili miss, rebounded by Josh Howard.
A real barometer, Ginobili. Can he play the tremendous leadership role that we've come to expect, but don't always see?
Tight defense by Howard. Was it touched by a Mav? Displeasure that as defending champs, they have to play on the tightest turnaround, essentially starting 36 hours after the buzzer for Game 6 in Sac.
Well, let's remember this. All of the great teams have played under all kinds of conditions, and they have prevailed. So if San Antonio is going to prevail, they'll do it.
3 for Horry, playing his 205th postseason game. Only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Scottie Pippen have played more. Terry's response is turned away.
Don't ever think for a minute that these games are staged for the players.
Parker all the way. First 5 for the Spurs. And Avery Johnson will get right up and call a quick timeout. Tim Duncan and the Spurs off to the early start out of the 32nd timeout. Good defense by the Spurs. Adrian Griffin has it for Dallas.
Matchups intriguing here. How long can Avery Johnson go with Adrian Griffin, who's not looking to score a lot of points?
Went off the window there, and the offensive foul is called.
You know, it's a little early to be as concerned as Avery Johnson seems to be. 5 points, you call a timeout.
Ill-advised timeout. Way too early for that.
Well, Howard comes all the way, bumps with Bowen, and draws free throws. He controlled the tempo for those championship Spurs, and really his will is mindful.
But you have to think big picture and breathe confidence into your players that they can get the job done. It's not going to be about what happens on the sideline. It's in between the baskets.
The foul was on Bruce Bowen, his first. Dallas on the board here in Game 1 of this Western Conference semifinal series.
You know, the real key is to make Tony Parker shoot jump shots. They get a steal on that slick pass that didn't get to Tim Duncan.
Jason Terry, he's got his work cut out for him.
Avery telling me that, hey, I wouldn't be in a position that I'm in right now, the reigning coach of the year, were it not for Pop showing confidence in me as a player back in 1992, prolonging my career. Popovich says that Avery Johnson has changed the culture of Dallas with his relentlessness and his consistency. But, guys, the ultimate acid test is this series today.
And Mark actually reported on GMC NBA Nation. They spoke by phone yesterday. No chance to visit, as Pop said. It would have been a sideshow if the 2 of us were out for dinner. And Pop trying to get the Spurs prepared on this short turnaround. After the Horry miss, here come the Mavs, trailing by 3. Ginobili has been very good defensively in the first 3 minutes. Terry takes the 3. Manu slaps it alive. Parker has no company.
An indication of how important Manu Ginobili is for the Spurs in this series. David Robinson the legend, is wearing a Manu Ginobili jersey today.
Duncan all the way, denied at the rim, but he was hit on the head by Sagana Diop. With all due respect, that's a concern.
Not only playing before noon, but free throws, and he dropped 2. So this may be his breakout party.
Not too bad shooting free throws in the last series, Steve. 28 of 41, better than he was percentage-wise in the regular season. San Antonio leads by 5. The Mavs just 2 points, 0 of 4 from the field in the first 3:15.
Well, right now the Mavericks doing a lot of dribbling, but not a lot of passing and cutting. Howard gets that to drop.
This is the man who a lot of people think will be the key to this series, Josh Howard. How he will be able to deliver in the biggest opportunity and stage of his life.
Duncan down the lane.
That's an offensive foul.
Starter minutes, although coming off the bench he's been more effective. After making his first 2, Duncan misses these 2.
Jason Terry said he was going to be aggressive. He was going to attack. So let's see if he can get himself going at the offensive end.
A miss by the shoot first, pass second point guard. And back comes San Antonio with their own push.
San Antonio appears to be the fresher team. Quicker to the ball. Will they be able to sustain that as this interminable game? Oh, great block shot.
Dampier comes over and gets it. He had 2.5 blocks per game in the series against Memphis.
If anybody needs to step up and show that they can deliver in the biggest game, it's Dampier. Last year against Phoenix, he was tortured by Amari Stoudemire.
Whoa, Josh Howard put Ginobili on the seat of his pants. Josh Howard has all the Dallas points.
I think it's Dirk Nowitzki that needs to show the biggest step forward.
Parker cuts inside. That shot was altered by the presence of Dampier. Or he takes it away to Duncan. And 1. Jason Terry off to the bench.
Three-point play for Duncan, who is in this ball game. He's got 5 points early. So the test for the centers, and Avery Johnson said our 5s are going to have to play well against Duncan, is on.
He said the key to the series when we talked to him this morning are 2 guys at the point, Terry and Harris, and our 2-headed center monster. The center monster has not been a monster. Dirk over Bowen. So Dirk Nowitzki, after missing his first 2, makes his first field goal. He has such a great ability with that 7-foot height to have that unblockable shot when guarded by someone like Bowen.
He's capable of hitting 5, 6 shots in a row, and what he needs is 1 to go in. Duncan.
You can always see he's lined up. He loves to take a shot off glass from that left area in the first quarter, and he usually hits it.
And what makes him the best and the 2-time MVP, the 3-time final MVP, is that his decision-making. Now Bowen's second foul here.
Bowen does a good job getting up, just kind of making that space right beneath him uncomfortable throughout the playoffs, and could see each other in the Western Finals as they did in this round, the Western Semis, last year when Phoenix won.
What they did there was they substituted Brent Berry for Tim Duncan. They tried to substitute initially for Rasho Nesterovic, but that was illegal, so now Duncan ready to come right back in on the next dead ball.
Michael Finley came in at that dead ball as well, so he and Brent Berry are in. Ginobili shoots a 3. It's off. The Spurs, the second-best three-point shooting team in the NBA. That is a huge part of San Antonio's success recipe this year.
43% now.
Howard will come to the line.
And their effectiveness behind.
At the end of the first round in 2003, Dallas took him at spot number 29, and he has blossomed. You saw his point production improving. Played at Wake Forest, first-team All-American as a senior, unanimous Player of the Year in the ACC. One of those 4-year players who came to a good team, ready to contribute, and he has grown to become perhaps the key other guy for the Mavericks in this series.
First All-ACC performer unanimous since David Thompson in 75. Blocked by Dampier again.
His second one, first time we saw Nowitzki and Duncan head-to-head on that end of the floor.
They switch it, and that really allowed him to get in and make the block Dampier.
Now Finley has Dirk on this trip. Duncan for the help. Dirk, the deuce.
Finley was watching, Mike. He didn't have him. He was watching.
Parker will bring it up to the front court and take a timeout. That's a lot better than being the 3rd worst in the league as they were 2 years ago.
Well, the one thing is their attitude about the defense. They try. They have a team concept. It's Finley strong.
Finley the 3 over the zone, puts San Antonio back on top.
The defense for the Mavericks puts them in position to win at the end, but somebody's got to make and take that big shot up against a dug-in great defense like the Spurs or Detroit had.
Stackhouse to miss. That's the guy who is more willing and very comfortable with that leadership role now. I should say comfortable, not very comfortable. Dirk Nowitzki is not the most boisterous leader, but that's been a big part of what Avery Johnson has done this year. In addition to the basketball, I think Dirk's in a better position to do that now. No basket for Parker, a pre-shot foul on Devin Harris.
If they want to win.
And on Friday night on ESPN, we'll have Game 3 from New Jersey and Los Angeles. Those best-of-7 conference semifinals. For all the excitement in those opening round series, the 4 overtime games, 14 road wins, the 4 6-game series, 1 7-game series. We only had one upset with the 6 beating the 3, and really we know the Clippers had a better record than the Nuggets. Stackhouse knocks it down.
Home court has prevailed. So I don't want to hear anything about regular season not being important.
Every game counts, as somebody once said. All tied at 17, 8 minutes into the first quarter. Duncan working on Dampier, got it, and got a second foul on Dampier.
Tim Duncan, a parade to the free throw line. The only Spur who has taken a free throw attempt.
Spurs pick up full court here. Dampier's on the bench with 2. He brought back Jop, the starting center. Do you like that?
I'd rather see him just go small and play with complete basketball players.
Well, there's Jop inside for the hoop. Sagana Jop, who was a lottery pick for the Cleveland Cavaliers, he only scored 190 points in 1,500 minutes this year. He doesn't exactly look for the offensive end.
They don't look for him. What he does is block shots and rebound the ball and give them an extra center.
For 12. They beat Memphis by 10 and 15.
A statistical analysis of history since the first round has gone to 7 games show that under this scenario with days rest, that Dallas is a prohibitive favorite in this game today.
I can't believe that you're going to go with that because it always comes down to accepting the challenge of the big moment. San Antonio knows they got to win this game. They can't give up the home court advantage.
I'm just reporting the factual numbers.
Tony Parker with the hoop. He has 6 points. Spurs back on top by 1. Devin Harris got faked out of his underwear on that last move, but a response on the other end from Stack.
Stackhouse is on today, so that is a weapon that Avery Johnson is going to be happy to be throwing back at San Antonio.
I like what Avery Johnson is doing in the backcourt defensively against Parker. Meet him in the backcourt, put some pressure on him. Unlike Sacramento, who just waited for him at their own defensive free throw line, and then he only had to beat him by 3 feet.
Well, yeah, but you got to have guys that can go down and put pressure. Devin Harris can do it as well as Jason Terry.
Josh Howard almost hit the circus layup. He'll get free throws that
prepare them for. Avery Johnson was on a team himself.
After winning the '99 championship against the Knicks, and then in that strike-shortened season, people still had questions, but so good in 2003 when they won it, and they finally got over their hump, which was the Lakers, and winning the championship in 7 over the Pistons last year.
Well, everybody credits Avery Johnson for the change in attitude. How about Mark Cuban's relentless pursuit of nothing short of perfection?
When you heard Mike say they've won essentially 2 out of 3 games.
Everybody on this franchise, until he gets what he wants, which is the championship, he's not happy with just making it to the second round. He's not happy with having sellout crowds every single night. He wants that ultimate prize.
Mavs 25, Spurs 224, 2 minutes left here in the first quarter of game 1. Nowitzki on the bench for the Mavericks. Duncan down for the Spurs for the moment. Stackhouse over Finley. Finley, of course, very familiar with what's going on with the guys in blue. He has the second most playoff games played by a Maverick. Now a Spur after he was allowed to be released in the amnesty after the new collective bargaining agreement this past offseason.
Whoa. They're still paying his salary.
Yes.
Giving up a high percentage to Dallas here in the first quarter of play. Dallas is shooting over 50% with 1:29 to go in the quarter.
8 of 15, Steve, after missing their first 4. Stackhouse, you called it, Steve. Stack is one of those guys who has to go inside and outside for his game, but when he gets hot, boy, he can score them in bunches.
Where's Manu Ginobili?
It's in the corner down here.
I understand that.
Oh, okay.
He's on the court.
Oh, I see.
But
yeah.
He needs to start playing basketball.
Park to the miss. Devin Harris the rebound. That time he was guarded by Jason Terry. Now Manu picks up Harris. He gets a shot in the chops from Howard. Stack again. Nice touch by Ginobili. Full shot clock. Terry missed. Benga the rebound over the back.
Give and goes. That's not happening right now.
To give them something in this series. He's a versatile player, can play a couple of positions and can score. We'll find out whether he gets the scoring. He was at the just made the free throw.
Manu Ginobili. For his first points of the game in a critically important NBA playoff game.
It is the winner of Game 1 in the best-of-7 era wins 4 of every 5 playoff series. And there is Josh Howard, who can score in so many ways. He has 12 to lead all scorers. Howard and Nowitzki have 21 of the Mavs' 29. A couple of seconds different. Game and shot clock back into the opening quarter.
And that was a major concern as Howard challenges Ginobili.
And Ginobili turned it over. Nearly gave the foul. Daniels, Terry. Rebound Mustarovic. 4 to shoot. Finley just looked at the clock. Brent Barry, 3 at the buzzer.
Votes. I thought the first place votes would be closer. And he got 57, which makes it a landslide.
You're right, Steve, because on the ballot you had to fill in 5 spots. Nowitzki misses, and there's one of the other 10 men in addition to Nash to win back-to-back MVPs, or multiple MVPs, I should say. Tim Duncan, who did win it back-to-back, 02 and 03.
The amazing thing about Steve is how completely different his game is from any other player in the entire league.
Duncan the hoop, 29-28. Did you guys think that vote would be closer?
I did. I really did, because there was so much talk about so many different players through the course of the season. But I think it all came down to the fact that Phoenix was able to remain competitive, win their division with a whole new cast of players.
And without arguably their best in Amari Stoudemire, although Nash is the MVP, Amari had such an impact on that team last year. So Steve Nash comes up live with Dan and the guys in the studio at halftime. Here, San Antonio trails Dallas by 3. Duncan the miss.
Duncan is looking to cook early. I mean, you know, he knows he's got the center position under control, even though they have 3 different guys to throw at him. So he's being very aggressive offensively.
But this is where the mental fatigue comes into play.
What mental fatigue?
The quick turnaround, the long travel, jump ball forced by Manu Ginobili.
You have to prevail. You can't have excuses, and I'm hearing excuses.
Big Van Exel slides in and steals the tip as Nowitzki hit it first. Van Exel playing the backup point essentially over Beno Udrih. Brent Barry misses inside. Nowitzki comes away with the rebound.
Physical confrontation at the hoop every single time for the Dallas Mavericks. Outstanding.
Terry along the baseline. Jock tries to keep it alive. Ginobili energized here in the last few minutes.
They need Nick Van Exel to get going here offensively. It's been a mighty struggle for the former star.
The big boy's ready today.
He is right at those guys, too.
He's not fooling around today. Tim Duncan is going to put him on his back and see if he can't make the difference.
He's not going to be able to do it by himself. I think that plays into Dallas's hands if Tim has to just do all the scoring. Finley, Ginobili, Van Exel, Parker, Barry, they all got to deliver.
Dirk from one of his hot spots. He takes and makes so many from there and misses.
To build the lead or to come off the mat, you need somebody to make the big play. That is what Duncan is doing right now. He's asking for the ball. Daniels.
Stackhouse started this break, finished by Terry. Credit Stack with the quick hands to knock it away and get it all started. Mavs still up by 3.
Jerry Stackhouse has been the difference in this game. Both ends of the court.
An early proclamation.
We can only go by what's happened.
Jock has 2 fouls.
Give him one more. Give him one more.
And give Duncan one more as well.
He's initiating his own move by faking passes. He's also executing plays where he fakes one and then does the same thing. That exhibits incredible dominance over your individual matchup.
Duncan is 4 of 7 from the free throw line. 1 point Dallas lead. Even though they're not getting a lot of their starting guards, Stackhouse is giving them some offense. Robert Horry joined by Manu Ginobili, Nick Van Exel, Bruce Bowen, and Tim Duncan. Bring it up for San Antonio. Manu. Horry pulls it away.
That was a big rebound by Horry because Dampier did a great job of making a miss.
And Duncan gets the second try as they brought in Dampier with his 2 fouls. Tim Duncan, monster first half. 18 points for Duncan.
8 in the quarter, and that means you're going to have to get a response from Nowitzki and Stackhouse.
For 3, Stackhouse.
The Mavericks centers are not playing defense well enough before Duncan starts his move.
Nowitzki, Stackhouse, and Howardville have 30 of the Dallas 36.
Like, you have to give Duncan some credit. I mean, he has come with an offensive attitude today. He's been very aggressive.
Steve, I have no problem giving Tim Duncan credit.
Well, you're beating
never have.
But you're beating up Dampier and Benga and Job.
And make his deep post-ups a lot tougher, especially on his catches. And he said to finish off the huddle, guys, I've never been in a playoff game where you win it all in the first half. We've got to keep grinding it. Back to you.
Mark, he's been in a lot of those playoff games with Tim Duncan as his teammate in San Antonio. Look at Duncan go keep this possession alive. Didn't hit the rim, 5 to shoot.
That was a pass to Tim Duncan.
Duncan off the glass. Rebound Nowitzki. Dirk has 9 points, 5 boards here in the first half.
Well, Dallas should know this is not going to come easy, this victory, as they got a mismatch Dirk Nowitzki against Nick Van Exel.
Just turn and shoot here.
He took him right to his sweet spot, right there on the elbow, and knocked it down over his former teammate. Van Exel played a year and a half with Dallas.
Our first question to Greg Popovich today was how you going to handle that phony interchange out in front, traveling violation.
You have a bigger guy guarding him. He's got to fight through.
It was the same tactical mistake that the Lakers made against Phoenix. Steve Nash comes off these picks that really mean nothing 30 feet from the basket, and they switch, and then you have no chance with an untenable matchup.
Bowen with 2 fouls has Nowitzki, then Dirk is calling for it. Duncan came to help. Rebound by Finley. You know, Robert Horry's not getting a bunch of stats. He's doing a nice job every single possession.
See, they are looking for Duncan, and they're looking for him early. Dirk comes to double that time.
Dirk was angry by Duncan's arm in the face.
I like the closeout defense by Dallas.
Duncan again. 20 for Tim Duncan. 40 is his playoff career high, and he's got 20 in a quarter and a half. Terry.
Jet gets his first. When everybody else is struggling, you find a way to get the ball to him. He finds a way to make it happen. 2-point game.
And struggling they are, Steve. They've only got 3 points to Spurs off the bench. That was from Michael Finley.
All the Dallas bench points have been from Jerry Stackhouse. He has 9.
Bruce Bowen has yet to score. He's in foul trouble.
And here is Bowen, who had such good offense in games 5 and 6 against Sacramento. The great George Gervin. He had a 20-point quarter against Washington when the Spurs were in the 1978 playoffs against the then Bullets. There's Howard with the hoop. Gervin had 31 and a half, 46 in the game back in 1978 when the Spurs were in the Eastern Conference. Mark Oberding, Larry Keenan among the players on that team that lost to Washington in 6.
And if San Antonio prevail, they're going to have to be able to get a hold of Josh Howard. Howard is the wild card block there.
Blocks Finley going to shoot a 3. Mavs try to extend to their biggest lead, although Duncan's been the star. It is Dallas on top by 4.
In the point guard matchup, Parker and Jason Terry here has been a wash.
Terry struggling from the field. 3 of 11, but this possession kept alive. Didn't reset the clock. Bowen, Duncan, Finley.
Duncan is running the floor on every possible opportunity. Just the slightest hint that there might be a change of possession. He is beating everyone to the spot.
Well, they're going to gamble off but Dampier.
Yep.
And that's his first foray to the hoop.
Duncan 5 boards. Parker, a streak of lightning. Or he triple. Dampier the rebound.
See how quickly they're changing into the floor right now. This is not what San Antonio wants.
Adrian Griffin at the line. Adrian Griffin has played 2 of his college years for the regular season, but he has brought a little defense, a little attitude, and the little things that Avery Johnson magnifies.
He's always one of those glue guys. Offensive foul.
And Griffin, and that says a lot about Avery Johnson and his confidence.
If you're Dallas, just keep running as hard and as fast and as long as you can. Will San Antonio be able to find something deep inside to match it?
Stackhouse, the offensive option on the floor, knocks it down. This is the biggest Dallas lead at 5.
Now, the answer for San Antonio and Mike has to come at the offensive end. They've got to string Ginobili and Parker loose here in the closing moments of the quarter.
Parker off that nice high screen by Ori. Got just a little bit of daylight. That's all that the blur needs to get there.
But when someone comes like Robert Horry to set that screen, where is the rotation?
Devin Harris tries to use speed, draws the foul on Nazr Mohammed.
See? This guy is one of the greatest players in the whole world. And he has got 4 points on 1 for 4 shooting.
He did have 27 in Game 5 in this building earlier this week.
That was
against
2 games
Sacramento.
ago.
I know. Parker got trapped. He gave up that dribble. That's where Nash always keeps that left-handed dribble alive. 6 to shoot for Tony. Got caught underneath the rim.
Yeah, Josh Howard was the guy that slapped that one back. And so, you know, they're using Dampier as a guy to divert the first shot, and then they're coming with help.
Stackhouse.
Stackhouse is acting like he is the greatest player in the world right now. And every shot he takes, he knows it's going down, and he's right.
Manu coming baseline. He'll get to the line and draw free throws. He's been much better at home this year.
And they've got scores out on the floor. Harris, Stackhouse, Nowitzki, Devin Harris, and Josh Howard.
I'm perplexed, though, by Manu Ginobili, who is not a role player. This guy is capable of being the lead player on the greatest of teams. And yet here he's had 0 impact, as he has a number of times during this playoffs already.
Griffin rose to the goal and got it to go. So Adrian Griffin, you ignore his offense usually, but that's what Memphis did. They just sent Pau Gasol off to help anybody else, and then Griffin hit some back-to-back hoops on him. So sleep on AG, and he'll make you pay. Parker.
1 and done. That's what the result for San Antonio right now. So they better go back to Tim Duncan. Duncan is back out on the floor, and you want to score.
All the loose balls going to Dallas right now.
Do you think that's San Antonio being tired on the quick turnaround?
Mentally tired.
No, I think that Dallas is the aggressor. They're making the plays. They're making it happen. And what San Antonio is going to have to do is they're going to have to respond. They're going to have to answer that.
San Antonio is going to need more production and time from Robert Horry.
The lob for Duncan, couldn't get it all the way up and in. Chance for Dallas to go 2 for 1 here at the back end of the half and carry the basketball.
Josh Howard has been fine. Jason Terry has negated the normal brilliance of Tony Parker, and the bench, led by Stackhouse by himself, has been dominant.
Ginobili galloping down the lane, got it to go. Manu has 8 for the game. 6 in the quarter. 2.5 seconds the difference. Game and shot clock. Spurs have a foul to give.
I don't think you want Manu Ginobili to give it, though. They're going to need him.
Not Bowen for sure. He has 2.
Well, just because you have a foul to give doesn't mean you have to give it.
There is no room for Nowitzki to operate, but he still knocks it down.
What patience. What deliberation.
5 seconds left. They pick up full court. Parker beat Harris. Bowen open in the corner. Parker missed the runner, and it is halftime. Locker room talk, Mark Jones has that. Jonesy?
Guys, I spoke with Greg Popovich, head coach of the Spurs, a few moments ago. He says that he was very unhappy with his team's pursuit of the basketball. He said it led to a big disparity in rebounding and hustle points. At the other end of the floor, he says that defensively, hey, they just broke us down from the perimeter a lot more than they usually do. That's our main focus here in the second half. Back to you.
Some of the signs of a more athletic Dallas team than in past years, Mark. The same 10 that start the game. Start this third quarter. Jason Terry, off of a tough shooting first half, continues. He's now 3 of 12, but Sagana Diop kept it alive. Denied by Orion Duncan. Here come the Spurs.
In that stretch where Duncan did not score in the last 6 minutes, he only took 1 shot. Dallas has not turned the ball over. Only 4 turnovers in the entire first half for the Mavericks.
Ginobili left some space. He misfires. Rebound by Nowitzki. Dirk up top. Flip Bowen committed in the air. And came up short. Back come the Spurs.
Why would you leave Dirk Nowitzki open in transition?
Try that lob for Duncan. They attempted it once in the first half. It didn't work. Bowen, the corner 3. Ginobili tried to keep it alive, but it ends up in the hands of Nowitzki. This is 4-on-3 Mavs. Howard all the way. And one of the things Greg Popovich told us this morning was the difficulty of Josh Howard is you can't just say take this away, because he hits the threes, he slashes, he hits the offensive rebounding column, and he becomes a very tough cover and maybe a swing guy in the success for the Mavs in this series.
There's no question that he has great offensive versatility, and they don't run plays for him. So it's not like you can say, let's take Josh's play away. Blow and picks up a foul there again. Maybe Howard was anticipating the shot going up.
Let's check out those caps. I keep reading about them here. Let's check them out. Oh, Ginobili took it away from Diop. Jump ball is called.
Themselves in all the areas of the game.
Diop tipped it out of bounds. Won 63 games this year, a franchise best. They just weren't able to hold off Dallas at the end, and that's why this series is starting here in San Antonio. The Mavericks, if they look back, look at their losses to Golden State, 3 of them on the year. These are the 2 best teams in the Western Conference this year, the quality of teams in round 2.
Well, remember the champion Houston Rockets. They were down low as you could be with Olajuwon and company, and they came back and won the championship. So seeds are important, but you've got to have the will and the players to get the job done.
Whoever wins this series will be the favorite in the Western Conference Finals, and they'll be the home team, because even though Phoenix is the 2 seed, they didn't have as many wins as the Mavs. Big hit by Diop, left Nowitzki free, he missed it. Bowen hit the deck on that defensive trip, now has it on the offensive end.
Dallas's transition defense has been superb. They couldn't even, the Spurs couldn't even get an uncontested layup out of that turnover.
Tony Parker, his shooting from the outside has improved so much this year. That plus his as good as anyone in the league speed with the ball made Parker the 3rd best field goal shooter in the NBA this year. 55%. Haven't seen a point guard that high in 3 decades.
But he hasn't been able to create any separation between himself and Jason Terry.
He only has 1 layup hoop here in the game so far.
Jason Terry.
Now 2, Howard didn't get it off. Shot clock violation. And after that mistake by Howard not taking the shot, there you see Del Harris, the loyal lieutenant for this Dallas era under Mark Cuban, seated to the left of Don Nelson, and now Avery Johnson. Avery, during that substitution, talked to Josh Howard, who made the mistake of not taking that shot. 14 to shoot for San Antonio. Parker. Well, same can be said for Tony Parker and Mark Jones. It's been a lot of hard work to make him a better scorer and shooter this year.
Yeah, at the end of last season, the Spurs brought in assistant coach Chip Engelland specifically to work with Tony Parker as his personal shooting coach. He says that he and Chip have watched video of every shot. That's right, every shot that Tony with the ball now has taken this year. And that he also got him together with Grant Hill, who is also a former disciple of Chip Engelland. He says that he shows him pictures, trading card pictures of good shooters with good form, like Steve Nash, the MVP. Back to you guys.
Bruce Bowen knocks down that good-looking shot. The game is square at 54.
Everything running through Tim Duncan, who now is not shooting. He's drawing the defense. He's kicking it out. Parker, the beneficiary, as well as Bruce Bowen.
It's 8-2 out of the locker room here, Bill.
Bowen's first bucket of the afternoon, and that is much needed. A turnover, carelessness for Dallas.
Manu, no numbers. Secondary three, not available. Spurs run half court. Eight to shoot for Ginobili. Got stuck in there. The big, long body of Jop in the way. Terry with Nowitzki and Stackhouse. Oh, the baseline left free. And Jerry Stackhouse, he had a dunk like that in Cameron Indoor Stadium when he was the Tar Heel against Duke. I remember a flying Stackhouse dunk. He didn't get up as high this time. There's a lot more games and age on that 11-year, 31-year-old body, but still pretty from Stack.
Sagana Jop working diligently to try to deny Duncan possession. A turnover.
Jop's doing a good job. Terry, Stackhouse. They exchange. And JT knocks down three.
I concur that Jop is doing a much better job in this half. He's forgotten about the fact that he's got those 2 early fouls. Just coming out and playing ball, saying, I'm coming to attack you, Timmy.
Well, they've had a tougher time getting Tim Duncan the ball. So the defense on the ball, the pressure to drop it inside has been much better.
Ginobili over the arm of the 7-footer Jop.
They might want to tell the Dallas Mavericks that Manu Ginobili is left-handed and promises to be so throughout the rest of this day.
Duncan meets Terry, changes the shot. Ori, another block on Jop. And Sagana picks up the foul. Halfway through this third quarter, Game 2 is here in San Antonio on Tuesday. Game 3 doesn't come up till Saturday in Dallas. Ginobili airball.
But if you're Dallas at the offensive end, start moving the ball quicker. Try to get the ball in the air and pass and cut.
I think they need Nowitzki to get going offensively.
Howard misses. There's Dirk with the rebound. Just ran to a spot where he had space to shoot. Nowitzki has 15 on 6 of 13 shooting. Mavericks have led by as many as 8. Duncan on the bench. He's only scored 1 point since he ran out to the 20 points in the first 18 minutes of the game.
Always the question, can they sustain? Parker just hammered inside.
Dampier blocked him twice. Parker took a shot in the face. They have possession back. Ori fouled by Nowitzki. This is number 205 here this afternoon. No, he doesn't know what that is.
That's the greatest thing about basketball. The only thing you have to wait for is the opening tip.
What Steve was going to say was that only Celtics have more championships than that. So he would be the first non-Celt. Jason Terry right to the rack. Almost used Dampier as a ramp for an X-Games stunt to go up and get the hoop.
Which is not legal, by the way. You cannot propel yourself over a teammate.
Which is why I said almost. 63-58. Terry had a hand on Parker.
Give yourself a chance to draw the foul and get the bucket to go in.
They did shoot it well in the last series, but they did rank 28th overall this season.
You know, it's kind of infectious with this team. When one misses, they all start missing. And then when the game is tight, there's a nervous attitude about going to the line.
Stackhouse guarded by Finley. Good job by Nesterovic tying up Dampier, and Ori comes back and gets another board. It's 7 for Roberts.
This is the total mismatch here. Parker can get whatever he wants.
And he'll choose the open jumper.
7.25 for Tony Parker, but that was the right decision. You got a big guy on you. He doesn't want to see you get to the rim. Take that shot.
Against dominant centers.
Good success.
Vince Carter and Maynard Kristich are the keys there. If they can come out and take the ball right at Shaq and Dwayne Wade, they have a chance.
That's the 2-3 series in the East. That will start tomorrow night over on TNT. Parker. Duncan tipped it. Back come the Mavericks again, looking to push. Three and a half left. Dallas has led for the majority of this game, but it's never been a big margin. Dampier will draw some free throws. One more for Dampier.
Race up and down game, and with everything clicking right now, Steve Nash, the MVP, the home court, Barbosa, everything going well. The jumpers raining down. Boris Diaw. Phoenix Suns looking very strong there.
Mavs by 5. 3 minutes left here in this third quarter. Finley.
Well, remember, the newfound Clippers have some weapons of their own. The early offense of Sam Cassell, the steadiness of Elton Brand, and Chris Kaman in the middle, where Phoenix is the weakest.
Harris gets to the elbow, and Devin Harris, good pass last trip, good hoop there, important minutes, and he's going to have to play significant minutes in that backup point guard role.
Eric Dampier's hurt.
You're right, Bill, grabbing his hand there.
You're rocking that uniform pretty good, David. Thanks for joining us.
Guys building in June of '03 when they beat the Nets for that second NBA title, and David Robinson was able to retire, much like Jerome Bettis did in the NFL, going out on top.
Retired on his own terms. This franchise is here in this city with this building, with this incredible following because of David Robinson.
Great lottery moments. They get Robinson, they get Duncan. They get lots of great wins. Dallas 68, San Antonio 65. Nesterovic and Duncan, the bigs, with Finley, Brent Barry, and Tony Parker. Let's see if Duncan tries to get back into that offensive flow. Doubled, looking for the open man. It becomes Tim. Rebound by Howard, who joins Adrian Griffin, Devin Harris, Jerry Stackhouse, and Eric Dampier on the floor for the Mavericks.
And it'll be important for Dallas to see if they can extend their lead in the final 2 minutes with Nowitzki sitting down.
Stackhouse wants it on Brent Barry, and they clear a side for him. Stack to the rack, fouled by Duncan. He missed the second half of last year with a right groin injury. Monitor of the pulse of the team has been very important in the growth of this Dallas group to their terrific season.
Well, you know, Stackhouse is a guy that was a starter for most of his career. To be willing to accept the six-man responsibility to do whatever it takes says a lot to the team and to the coach, Duncan.
Off the pick and roll with Parker. Let's see if that gets Tim Duncan going.
Left-handed throwdown, shades of Robert Horry from the finals a year ago. Game 5 at Detroit, a clincher for the Spurs.
Nowitzki the miss, rebounded by Griffin. They ended up losing Game 6 here in this building, but won Game 7 in one of the great scenes in the NBA. This building was just rocking 20 minutes before tip, and they're getting loud now. Oh, Nowitzki on the spin cycle, second possession in a row.
He has no trouble getting his own shot. He just hasn't taken enough shots here in the second half. They're going to have to start force-feeding the center position in order to get the defense to react, to get easier shots for Finley, Parker, and Bowen.
But when they do that, it takes everybody else out of what they're trying to get going.
Duncan works on Dampier.
Oh, good.
And the beauty of what we're seeing with these two guys helping carry their team in key stretches, they are 6'11" and 7-foot players that have changed the mindset of play in basketball. Not just back to the basket in the lane only. They extend the floor, tough to guard. Stackhouse. Oh, beautiful move. Couldn't finish. The rebound by Nowitzki. I think the last 2 minutes are left-hand scores only allowed. Dallas +3, 2 seconds the difference. Game and shot clock.
Tim Duncan is playing right now like Oscar Robertson.
Stackhouse grabbed his jersey ahead of his career stats.
Those centers in foul trouble, their shot blockers, they disrupt things at the other end of the floor.
Duncan has scored the last 6. 1-point game, final 10 seconds. The backup point guard, Harris, will bring it up, and you got to go quick. Looking over to Avery for an answer. Trying to get Nowitzki, who will rise up over Bowen. Good defense by Bruce Bowen, who started it early in that possession.
Dallas has played well enough to win this game. Whether they'll be able to come up with the competitive greatness in the fourth quarter to get one on the road at the home of the world champions, that remains to be seen.
It begins with Duncan, doubled by Marquise Daniels. Pitch out to Finley for three. The leading three-point shooter in Mavericks playoff history misses one there. Kevin Harris starts with Jerry Stackhouse, Marquise Daniels, Dirk Nowitzki, and Eric Dampier.
Bowen without the ball on Dirk Nowitzki. Beautiful to watch.
Not sure what he wanted to do, but he's got to be more decisive.
And you see that with Dirk. We're talking about Dirk's leadership. He was fiery and at Daniels. You cannot blow away a possession in what's going to be a tight couple of possession game. Manu draws the foul.
How important is the game? Every captain took. Daniels out. That's about 30 seconds to play, and that's all I want to see out of you for a while.
You know, Marquise Daniels, good player. He didn't play the last game. He got a bad hamstring.
Duncan got it to go.
Your hamstring has nothing to do with your brain.
First Spurs lead since early in the second quarter. To their feet at the AT&T Center. This is where their defense is usually very good. Carried the ball, turned it over.
Get the ball to Tim Duncan early in the shot clock.
Dampier fronting Duncan.
Oh, now they're waiting too long. Offensive foul, Duncan holding off Eric Dampier. Don't stand there and let him grab you. Duncan is the finesse player of the two.
Just by Dampier's body motion, it made it obvious to get a call, although wasn't it really a hook. Stackhouse fakes the three, took a tough two. Write it down for Stackhouse. Jerry Stackhouse off the bench, leading the Mavericks in scoring. He has 20 of the 74.
Stackhouse just jumping into spots. Arguably a traveling violation there. Spurs are in trouble now. They're having difficulty getting into an offensive scheme.
Duncan, Howard came down, foul.
Can Stackhouse and Nowitzki breathe life into this team to get it done?
Well, Nick Van Exel hasn't made a shot since the second quarter of the first game of the Sacramento series. He picks a good time to get his old team down one. Terry right at Duncan. Foul on Tim. Here comes Terry to the line. Has us much better prepared for what we're going to face like right now. Tight game on the road, and you know grabbing one here would be huge.
And Dirk Nowitzki also called out Jason Terry in that final game when he didn't guard Steve Nash in transition.
Duncan just at the edge of his range. Horry kept the possession alive just off the bench. So many little things besides the big shots in the playoffs.
Neither team defending the high screen and roll effectively.
Nowitzki intercepts the pass intended for Horry, comes all the way and throws it down with two hands as Horry flies by.
How about the fact that nobody could catch Dirk Nowitzki from behind with the dribble? That's athleticism and talent.
At 7 feet. Handoff to Ginobili. That is the kind of Manu Ginobili hoop that you see in December and January when you watch the Spurs. And he needs that energy when the shots are tougher to make. Parker waiting to come in.
But Manu Ginobili wisely has to stop when he comes off of that screen. The rest of the Mavs bench, just 4 points. The physical prowess of Jerry Stackhouse, unmatchable by anyone that Greg Popovich can bring for San Antonio.
Nowitzki, Bowen gave him no air space, thus an air ball. Bowen has 4 personal fouls. Joff is on the floor for Dallas, watching Duncan, has 4 for the Mavs.
Stackhouse playing some defense of his own.
On the switch, Ginobili over Joff for 2.
When Dallas has lost to San Antonio, it's been because of the big three, Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. So Parker is going to get back out on the floor soon to replace Van Exel. Stackhouse.
Catch and fling. Rebound, Duncan.
Duncan has dominated throughout this game. Right now, he's doing it with leadership, rebounding. That's got to be a foul on Tim Duncan, who just bumped Dirk Nowitzki's defensive effort off The mark.
Horry missed the three. Back comes Jason Terry as we get towards 7 minutes in regulation. Terry pulls up. Nice touch over Duncan. It was a slow start for Jason Terry. Hit only 2 of his first 9 field goals in this one. He's come back with 4 of his last 7. Tony Parker's going to check in next dead ball.
He's got a huge quickness advantage over Nick Van Exel. Van Exel is on the team because he can make big shots in big moments. Duncan.
Got job to commit. And a chance for another 3-point play.
He started early in the ball game. He has not relented short with that free throw.
Horry fouled.
He's bowling.
It's Horry. Horry on Nowitzki. Maybe give it to Horry.
Which has it had moments of effectiveness, but Duncan has been the player in the middle.
Dampier comes back in, Steve, with 2 personal fouls. Duncan has missed 5 free throws tonight. Good job by Parker, and a holding foul.
I don't believe in flagrant fouls. I don't believe in fouls from behind. I don't believe in complaining to the officials, and I certainly don't believe in grabbing jerseys.
Parker stripped away by Terry and out of bounds. We were talking to Greg Popovich about that before the game. He never saw the play. And it's been repeated everywhere. Stackhouse around Bowen, who got in the way.
What great defense, Bruce Bowen. Go for the stab and have your teammates come.
Nowitzki throws Ginobili away. Missed the shot. Rebound Horry.
The referees are not calling anything. They want a timeout right now, Greg Popovich. The crowd is lathered up. I can't believe you said he took the season off. He only missed 2 games. This is the most decorated basketball player in the modern era of the NBA.
10 to shoot.
What is the modern era again?
Dampier blocks Duncan.
Since Michael Jordan retired.
Eric Dampier has 5 blocks after averaging 2.5 per game in the sweep of Memphis in round 1. Nowitzki doubled. Who's free? It was deflected. Great recovery.
A great offensive afternoon by Tim Duncan. 11 on the clock.
Terry into Dampier. Couldn't catch. Duncan feeds it to Parker.
Push the ball. If you're Tony Parker, you've got numbers. Dampier's slow to get back.
Horry trailing. He breaks plays so well so often and has that trailing 3 always available. Parker at 2. Been a long time since the Spurs were up by 4. Their biggest lead of the day is 5. Dallas out of sync offensively. San Antonio's vice tight on D. Stackhouse breaks it. He has 22 to lead the Mavericks.
Every time Dallas runs pick and roll, the big men for San Antonio, they're hanging back too deep. You've got to step out and at least make them take a step back as the offensive attack on the curl.
Parker used Duncan, trying to drop it back to him. Ginobili cleans it up. Duncan keeps it alive. Ginobili fouled. Mavericks are over the limit.
And what they've got to do is get more fluid at the offensive end. Their last 3 possessions, they have been tight. Ginobili, 1 of 2.
Stick with the pick and roll if you're Dallas. That's been successful because you get wide open with the ball handler.
Dampier trying to screen Ginobili. Offensive foul called by Danny Crawford. Dallas has turned it over 5 times in this quarter, guys. They only turned it over 7 times in the first 3.
But you know Avery Johnson is losing his mind about those turnovers. They get it back.
San Antonio gives them 1 good quick hands by Terry. Stackhouse really wants to go at Horry here. Pulls up and takes it. Makes it again. Jerry Stackhouse has 24. 29 was his high all season.
That is in the face of one of the game's greatest defensive forces, Robert Horry. I like the fact that Stackhouse never argued with the offensive foul call.
Duncan a great deep position. Bowen a triple. Dallas can retake the lead. They push. Howard for the foul.
A foul.
San Antonio wanted to travel. Game 2 is Tuesday. Then the scene shifts back up through Austin and Waco to Dallas for games 3 and 4 on Saturday and Monday, 8 days from now. Howard at Horry, over Horry. Kept the possession alive and now draws the foul.
The San Antonio Spurs. He missed 1 of the 4 games in the home of the world champions.
There's the mini bracket in the West. Phoenix and the Clippers will start their best-of-7 conference semifinal tomorrow night. The San Antonio-Dallas series, just the 15th series, and there have been 601 in NBA history that see two 60-win teams meeting. So one of every 40 series in the history of the playoffs has been this kind of regular season quality on the line in the postseason. Duncan on Dampier with 10 to shoot.
Good defense, Dampier.
Parker from the outside. The Mavericks defense has been better. All square at 84 as we hit the 3-minute mark. Same two-man game. Terry gets all the way in. Duncan there.
When it got tight against Memphis, it was Nowitzki delivering the ball. Let's see if they find a way to get him the ball.
Stackhouse has been the best player, though, Steve. Continue to milk him.
By the reverse, Dampier inside, backs a stack. Rebound by Tony Parker. San Antonio has missed its last 5 shots. No teams had a double-digit lead at any point in this very tight opening round game. Each team has 3 timeouts, and both are over the limit. Duncan for the lead.
Robert Horry
on Nowitzki. And we've seen very little of that in the game. Parker, Bowen from the office, a corner 3. His percentage is so much drastically better from the corner taking 3. Spurs retake the lead. Now he guards Nowitzki with Ginobili's help, and Ginobili comes away with the steal. Nowitzki's hustle prevents the easy layup.
Josh Howard. What a remarkable stab at that ball, forcing the double clutch.
Final 100 seconds. Terry the tape. Rebound by Duncan. Spurs keep pushing. Now Parker lets his teammates join him.
Intangibles. Robert Horry's offensive rebound. Josh Howard's defensive effort in transition, forcing the Ginobili miss.
Duncan from up top. 5 to shoot. Parker gets in and takes it. Missed it badly. Rebound Nowitzki. Dallas desperate for a hoop here.
Again, they got to find Dirk Nowitzki. You know, Stackhouse is taking a shot, Terry's taking a shot, but this guy is the guy that's going to make the play for him.
Bowen slaps at him. Dirk with Horry helping. Couldn't finish. Duncan comes over to get another rebound. San Antonio has 3 timeouts. They're going to get across midcourt and take one here with 50 seconds remaining. Ginobili with 10 on the clock. Duncan the screen. Ginobili goes left to the top. Rebound by Dampier. And tied up and foul on Ginobili. It's when the ball gets to the ring.
Got it.
Made it.
He does what he normally does, which is 1 of 2, and it's a 2-point game.
Jason Terry defends Tony Parker.
For Dallas, it's controlling this combination, Parker and Duncan, as they try to look for Duncan against the clock.
Off the Ginobili move, tied up, takes it in the lane, rebound Nowitzki. Shot clock is off. Mavericks take timeout.
Stackhouse is where I'm going if I'm the Dallas Mavericks.
Howard to inbound. It's Jason Terry. The Mavs down by 2. Game on the line. Nowitzki has it. Over Bowen. Ginobili knocked it away. Stackhouse got it. He went to the line. Got to get a shot off. 3 for the win. No! Spurs win! Spurs win game 1. He was coming back to the line for a 3. Eschewed the opportunity for a 2 and a tie.
They wanted Nowitzki to get the scoring opportunity. Bowen does a good job of getting him off balance, so now he knows he's not going to get the shot. It's a tough pass, and Stackhouse is thinking 3 to win it, and really should have been thinking 2 to tie.
Final score, San Antonio 87, Dallas 85, with Steve Jones, Mark Jones, Bill Walton, Mike Tirico,